But first, after a year of consultation and 2 inquiries, the revised Murray-Darling Basin Plan was released this week to a chorus of criticism. Among those unimpressed was South Australian Premier Jay Weatherill, who will speak to us shortly. But first, Mike Sexton looks at how the plan seems to have hardened sectional interests.
It's quite clear that we need to be doing far more.
This community's viability is absolutely on the edge.
This plan is supposed to be restoring the Murray-Darling Basin to health. If we can't even guarantee that, we are nowhere.
If a week's a long time in politics, then what must 19 weeks look like to Water Minister Tony Burke? That's how much more consultation time is left until the federal parliament votes on the new look Murray-Darling Basin Plan.
Everywhere I go, every catchment, every state, people give an argument as to why their location is different to any other. And in fairness, they all have a reasonable argument as to why their catchment is different. That's the Murray-Darling is different the whole way through. But if we all end up in our corners on why every catchment's different, you end up with no reform.
This week at Griffith in the New South Wales irrigation heartland, the minister was given a fierce character assessment by John Bossetto, who fears water reductions could cost him his farm.
The Murray-Darling Basin is more than South Australia. It goes from Queensland right through. There's other people in the world besides South Australia.
His is a commonly held view here that South Australia is driving the changes and that the future of irrigation farming upstream is being put in peril by the downstream environmental needs, especially of the lower lakes and Coorong.
It's all right to say we should, reduce the size of Menindee to a puddle for the sake of evaporation, but it's all right to build a puddle down in South Australia for evaporation.
Normally you're in a discussion about whether or not we're going too hard or whether we're going hard enough. I actually felt it was a hardening of the views to when I was last in Griffith.
Despite being criticised heavily in many quarters, including a threat by the Greens to block the bill in the Senate and the South Australian government to take up a High Court challenge, the consultation is, for now, continuing, which pleases fourth-generation Coorong fisherman Henry Jones, who's on the Basin Community Committee.
Whilst we're not happy with the amount of water we're allocated, I think it's really important that we get a plan up and going, and so something can be monitored. If the figure is too high, then the eastern states are just going to walk away from it and there's not going to be a plan. And all these millions of dollars that we've spent on science and everything else is just going to be wasted.